Well, hey everyone, welcome back to the cabin. We're actually heading down here to the timber frame workshop where we've been working, and we're going to meet you down there and we'll talk about what we've been doing. So we've been up on the roof working, putting on black felt paper, and we've had a little bit of challenge today because I don't know if you can tell, but it's a little bit on the windy side. But there was at one point where it just pulled the staples out because we were putting those in temporary before we went and nailed them down, and it just ripped it all up and wrapped it around me. Good thing I was standing there because we didn't lose like what 18 feet of that.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was a little bit of a challenge, but we did get it done. So if it starts raining, you know, now I'm not too worried about it because Big John has got a place to lay down at night now. So we're
Big John's bedroom.
Yeah, we're glad that it is almost complete. So let's move on down here and take a closer look. So by the way, for those of you that may not know, because I forget we do so many of these videos, this is my son Patrick. He flew in from Houston to help me put up the sheathing up here on top of the roof. So what we did is we chose, and I'll show you here a little bit closer view of it, but we chose like a blonde look for the wood because we just wanted a contrast to the hewn beams with the dark color and with the oil that I put on there. And I think what we did is it turned out really, really nice. So here, let me zoom in there and get you a closer look. So this oil or this treatment that we use is actually made by the same company, but you can see the coloring, the contrast between the two, and it just looks so good, we think. The treatment that I've been talking about is made by the same company, the oil that I use on treating after I do all my burning. And my son, he was up there trying to get the channels that I've already got hewn out of the beam up there for the next section to be able to tie into this building. And he said that the oil where I had treated it, that treatment that we're using does not want to even penetrate that. Now, it's not cheap either. It's like, what, for 5 gallons, probably 250 bucks?
210, 220. It's like $50 a gallon if you buy the single gallons.
Right.
But if you buy a 5 gallon, it's like 210, 220.
But we weren't sure how much we were going to use, and we actually ended up using just a hair over 2 gallons. We had to go back and get a third.
For 50 boards.
Yeah, but anyway, we really like how it turned out, and it's, like I said, made by the same company. And I'll tell you what, I can guarantee you that Australian timber frame oil is what it says it is. So if you have a need for treating any wood outside, and it does come in different colors, take my recommendation. It's good stuff. You know, we were just standing here looking at the difference, so let me ask you what you think. So now you can see that horizontal beam that I hewed out and burned and treated with that timber frame oil. Then you can see the brace there that was not hewn out but was also treated with the timber frame oil. Leave me some comments and tell me, which do you like better? Do you like the plain smooth sawmill look, or do you like the hewn look? Patrick was saying that when I hew it out, it has that Bengal tiger look.
Yeah, I think it looks better.
Yeah, it does have a really high not contrast, but it just pops, you know, when you compare it to something else that's just smooth. So
yeah, it's got this like, it looks more rugged, but it also looks more classy in like a
outdoorsy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, that's the question for today. Leave us some comments and let us know what you think.
Which one you like?
I recently had a comment about how many of these rollers have I used since I've been here, because it's pretty much the way that we do everything. These I buy 10 at a time, and I don't know, I may have bought 5 packs total, so that may be 50 of these that I've used on all the buildings that I've done. But I like these smaller ones. I think this is a 5-inch because most of what I do has been on 7-inch timbers, the 6-inch that I'm using here, but I also have the big ones. When I was using when actually building the cabin on the 1x10s, we were using something much larger. But kind of depends on what I'm doing, but I also buy them by the same company. But anyways, yeah, so the answer to that question is I probably use about 50 of these. So the little issue that I've been having recently with the sawmill is when I would run down the track, primarily it seemed like it only happened on this end and I couldn't figure out why to save my life. But it seemed like it would get a little bit hard to push, and it wasn't the fact that I was cutting through the log, because if the log wasn't there it would still do the same thing. So I think it's the rollers on here. It's actually rolling fairly free right now, but yesterday it was like you had a flat tire. I mean, it was awful.
Then it got to a point back here at the back half of the rails where it didn't want to move at all.
Yeah, so one of them may be freezing up, but I think what we're going to be able to do is take 2 bolts loose on the back side of the braces, and then this head has got 3 set screws right here on the side. We'll back those out and be able to lift that off, and then we can run the track out to the end, take it off, flip it over, and check on those wheels, because when you put it together you actually don't have all of your railing on there, and it's a little more difficult to do it once it's all put together like this. So anyway, that's the issue. That, I mean, the sawmill's cutting great, it's just the fact that it got to where I couldn't push it, so it has to be on those rollers, because the track seems to be clean actually, because it rolls on top and free of anything that would bind it. So it has to be the wheel or the bearing roller on the inside itself. But anyway, we'll get that figured out. We're actually going to put that in the video, so be watching, and maybe you'll see us figure out the problem that I've been having. So Patrick asked me what this was. It's actually the jig that I made to work alone by myself up here, which I put on all this siding. What I would do is these 2 screws, I would screw them into the one I just placed there, and then the new one would set right here. That way I could hold one side over there with this and hold the other side up over here and adjust where it needed to go, and put a screw in that. Then I could come down here, put a screw up here, and then I could take this out. So this is how one man works alone by himself.
It's a third hand.
Yeah. If this kind of stuff is interesting to you, you know, used to I could only cut a 12-foot log, but I added an extra 4 foot of bunk, and that allowed me to be able to cut 16. Now the new sawmill, I might be able to adjust it down there where I can add one more 4 foot and be able to cut up to a 20-foot log. We'll just have to wait and see. But like I said, if you're interested in that kind of thing, you can click up here in the top right hand corner. We'll link it to the video where I actually added this bunk on there. Guys, we appreciate you watching. Thanks so much. We look forward to seeing you back up here at the cabin again next time.